So how do you go about making a video game? What you want to do is plan your program in chunks. And then we're going to program each chunk separately. So those chunks are going to be your functions. So what kind of game can you make? You should be able to either chase an object, avoid an object, click on an object, or shoot on an object. So think of games that involve that: chasing, avoiding, clicking, or shooting. So let's take a very specific example so you know what I'm talking about. Imagine we're programming the game Asteroids. The first question you need to ask yourself are, what are the functions you need for your program? So let's think about some of the ideas in your program. You're going to need a title page, some rules, a background, a ship, an asteroid. You need to move the ship and move the asteroid. You need to be able to shoot some kind of bullet. There needs to be a hit test for the bullet and the asteroid and the ship and the asteroid. We need to have a score so we know who's winning and losing. There should be a game over screen, maybe an explosion when the asteroid gets hit, maybe an explosion when the ship gets hit. All right, so you know how to do a title page. That's simply drawing something either in paint or using your skills with lines and circles. You know how to display rules. I'd probably do that in paint. You know how to make a background. You know how to draw a ship. You know how to draw an asteroid. You know how to move things. Shooting bullets? Not sure. You know how to do a hit test. You know how to do that. Displaying the score? That could be shaky. You know how to make a game over screen. An explosion when the asteroid hits, you certainly know how to draw the explosion. So if you're looking at the code and you could program 80% of it without my help, then you're able to do the program. If you're only looking at it and saying, I only know how to do 10%, then it's much too hard for you. So we have an idea of what we need to do. A lot of these are simply drawings. And so what do we do next? Now we're going to plan the main line. We're going to make sure that the logic is correct. So you actually want to do this fairly early on. We have an idea what our functions are, but let's see if we can get the main line to work. Because if we spend all our time on the functions and then try and program the main line and find out it doesn't work, we wasted a lot of time. So we're actually going to go through the main line for the program for Asteroids. We have our normal import of Pygame, set the window up. You'd have your colors, you'd load any images you want. You put your functions in, and notice how basic they are right now. It's simply print title page. That's not what your program's going to look like later, but this is a great way to test your code. Now, let's look at good functions versus boring functions. If we have a function called move ship, and we use some really good variables, like how much we want to move the ship in the X, and how much we want to move the ship in the Y, then this function will allow a ship to move in any direction we want. So we don't need a move up, move down, move left, move right. We just have a generic move ship. So when you're writing your functions, good ones are versatile and can do a little bit more than one thing. Keep that in mind. We'll have a game over, and then we have our usual starting location for your objects. And let's look at the wild true. This is going to look a lot like your movie did, only instead of based on scenes, I'm calling it location. You could still use the word scene. So if the location is title page, we show the title. If it's the rules, we show the rules. If it's game over, we show the game over. This makes a lot of sense. And if we're playing the game, we need a lot more in play game. We'll need a ship and an asteroid and a bullet and all the movement and all sorts of other things. The for event is as it is normally, as is the display update and the clock. What goes on in key down? You can have your basic, if you press left, move your ship left. So how does this work? Our move function, that was the one that was really nice and versatile. So we're saying take the ship, subtract 10 from it, take the Y value and do nothing. So that moves your object left. So if we go left, we take the ship X and subtract 10. If we go right, we take the ship X and we add 10. So that was a typo on my part. So that will move it to the right. Okay, if we want to go up and down, you do the Shift Y. And how do we go from one thing to another? I'm going to use the return key. You can use another key if you want. So if I'm in the title page and I press return, I'm going to go to rules. And then our previous code would get us from title page into rules. If I'm in rules, I'm going to go to play game. So all of this is based on pressing the return key to move from one scene or one location to another. So there's the basics of your code. You can run it, test it. You'll have lots of prints going on. And you go, oh, this is awesome. This works. What do you do now? Now you write and test your individual functions. So big suggestion here. Make sure everything works perfectly for one object before you change your program for multiple objects. So when we're saying, oh, I want more than one enemy, I'm going to put them in right away. No, don't do that. Get everything working beautifully for one enemy, one bullet, one player, and then ask me. There's something called a list, and a list is going to be amazing and marvelous for doing multiple things. And it doesn't involve copy and pasting. So get everything working first, and then we'll talk. So again, what do you do to write a program? Think about all the little steps involved. Plan your main line. Then start taking these, and instead of having boring print title page, you're going to actually load the total title page in here. Okay, big warning. The logic, the if this, if that, if the other code is going to go in play game. So this is going to get really intense. So keep these methods, these functions very simple. If we're drawing a ship, just draw the ship. Don't worry about anything else. If you're drawing an asteroid, just draw the asteroid. Yes, we can make them slightly more versatile by moving up, down, left, and right in one function, but don't get it more complicated than that. There shouldn't be any loops. There shouldn't really be any if statements. All that sort of logic is going on in play game. All right, so your first step, what kind of game are you going to do? What sorts of things do you need? Plan the main line, write basic code in your functions, and then start changing it so that we can actually get the functions working one at a time. You should enjoy this. This should be a fun project for you. Be creative and have lots of fun with it.